Hey everybody, welcome to another one of Chris's beer reviews. Today, as you know by the title, we are going to be drinking the Post Road Pumpkin Ale. Now, you might be asking yourself, what is Post Road? Well, I don't really know what Post Road is. All that really matters about this Post Road Pumpkin Ale is that the Brooklyn Brewery is responsible for releasing this wonderful brew. The Brooklyn Brewery is located, and I can't believe I forgot to look at this. Well, it says product of USA, but I would have preferred to get the state that this actually came from, but I forgot where that state is. You can always look it up, brooklynbrewery.com. And on the side here it says, in the 18th century, colonial Americans brewed wonderful and interesting ales by using local ingredients. Pumpkins were favored by brewers for their rich, spicy flavors, which melded perfectly with malted barley. Brooklyn Brewery gives you Post Road Pumpkin Ale, a delicious rendition of this New England classic. Now, I've had this before, but I didn't really take into consideration, I didn't read any of this stuff here on the side. First thing that I got from this pumpkin ale, before I even open it and taste it for you, is for the first time in any pumpkin beer, um, it was an English ale approach of a pumpkin ale. It's not a pumpkin pie beer, it's more of a pumpkin beer, so you're getting more of the pumpkin flavors and spices instead of the pumpkin pie flavors and spices. Um, but yeah, first time ever it tastes like an English ale. Um, you could pick up on the Munich and the Fugl's hops. Um, very very potent. Now on the back here, gives me the ingredients, but I'm not going to get into that. I'd rather go in blind. And we have a wonderful cursive writing Post Road for a cap. And I think, I know this looks orange, but it's kind of like a pink orange, so to speak. I mean, it's clear by looking at the orange label that it is more of a pinkish reddish uh, cap. But that's besides the point. This stuff is irrelevant. Um, all right, so let's get down to business. I'm going to be drinking this out of a flute glass, which has been freshly rinsed. It's very important to rinse your glasses before you pour beer into them because it makes a ginormous difference in the amount of flavors that you're getting in your brew, as well as minimizing the carbonation. If you were to pour a beer into a glass that hadn't been rinsed, it would actually create more carbonation. And flavor-wise, I'm stumping myself here. I can't actually put my finger on the reason why it increases the flavor, but I may be wrong about that. I might be contradicting myself here. All right, so here goes. This is the Post Road Pumpkin Ale. Nice smoke off the top there. Now, immediately I'm picking up on the pumpkin flavor aromas. I can smell the nutmeg. Spices are, like most pumpkin beers, are a lot more difficult to pinpoint. You know, there's got to be some form of cinnamon and ginger and that kind of stuff in there, but it's really difficult to pick up on them. You're not really picking up on any English ale in the aroma though, so let's see how it goes. I'm going to pour it into this flute glass. I chose the flute glass because I like to pour beers into flute glasses and tulip glasses when it comes to aeration. It brings out the flavors more. Now, if I'm going to be drinking a pumpkin pie beer or a pumpkin beer, I want to use a glass that's going to be bringing out as many flavors as possible because I want to be able to pick up on those spices that are usually clouded by one another. All right, so just like the majority of pumpkin beers, um, it has the very bottom. You kind of have a little bit of a ginger ale looking color. It's difficult to see. You know what? I'm getting that because of the reflection off the monitor. Yeah, we got a orange color. It couldn't look anything less of a pumpkin beer here. So that's exactly what it is. And you can also clearly tell that it's filtered. There's no problems looking at me through there. All right, quarter finger head, small bubbles, no medium, no large. Now, it's really funny that I'm going through this because I have had this a long time ago. A long time ago, meaning about 2 weeks ago. And I thought I didn't like it at the time because of the English ale approach, but I had a pumpkin beer yesterday. I'm not going to name the brewery, um, but I absolutely despised the aftertaste of that pumpkin beer. And as much as I can taste that in here, that English ale concoction that you have going on here really, really does go well with the pumpkin flavor. Flavor-wise, on the front, you immediately get that pumpkin um, forefront of flavor. You don't, you just barely touch upon the nutmeg and spices, and then you're immediately after you get the English ale finish. It's wonderfully carbonated. I mean, it doesn't really look like it's got a lot of carbonation, but some of the pumpkin beers I've had are actually a little bit less carbonated than this, and with this beer you actually have such a well-rounded body, so complex that it manages to basically accomplish everything that it could possibly accomplish. That's a good pumpkin beer, I'm telling you. I'm happy I'm having this a second time because I wasn't really a big fan of it the first time. Very, very good, well-rounded brew. Alright, so that's good. I'm just taken back by it. So, what shall my rating for this be? Well, being that it is some of the better pumpkin beers that I've had out there, and taking into consideration that this is a pumpkin beer and not a pumpkin pie beer, for pumpkin beers, I'm easily going to rate this higher than the rest. I'm going to give this an 8.5 out of 10. It is incredibly well balanced, incredibly complex. The fact that there's a low alcohol content on here too really makes up for the flavor. There's a lot of pumpkin beers out there right now that are trying to cross the line of 8, 9, 10% ABV, and if you don't mask the alcohol content, then it just becomes a very boozy pumpkin beer instead of a nice, wonderful pumpkin pie concoction. This is only 5% ABV, nothing to nobody can handle. It's a 355 milliliter bottle. And I'm sure you were all laughing at me earlier thinking, oh, Brooklyn Brewery, they gotta be from Brooklyn, New York. Who knows, man? We've seen so many things, I couldn't tell you if that's exactly where it's from. I wouldn't be surprised anymore. So there you have it, 8.5 out of 10. It is good. It comes in 4-packs when it is delivered to the liquor stores, but currently LCBO has been taking them out of all of the 4-packs and selling them as singles. So this is just a simple, pardon me, $2.50, $3.50 beer, something along those lines. If I really had to put my finger on it, though, I would guess that it was leaning more towards $2.50. Anyways, that's probably the amount of information that I can give you at the most. Very good. Definitely worth a try. I would also like to consider it fourth beer review in a row. I'm mentioning gateway beers. For those who don't know if they like English ales, they don't know if they like pumpkin beers, this is a way to kill them both off at the same time, and it's in a single cheap bottle. So you're getting your money's worth. I'll tell you that. Anyways, people, thanks for joining me on another one of Chris's beer reviews. Don't drink and drive, just drink responsibly. Cheers.